It was a humbling experience. To come from over here, you're probably getting a couple hundred or at least like 1,000 impressions or something a post. I like my first month on YouTube, I'm getting like 3 views. I'm like, damn, this is humbling. But it was exciting to be a beginner again, and you just have to learn the platform. Hello. In today's session, we're going to be focused on LinkedIn marketing. All right, let's go to Kathy. Hello, Kathy. How are you?
I have a question for you with regards to the algorithm.
Yeah.
The dreaded algorithm. I find that sometimes when I do a basic post, all of a sudden it's like boop, 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 lots of views, impressions. I can tell that people in my feed are seeing it, and it's just like a simple text. And then I'll do a carousel, nothing happens. I'll do a video. It's so hit and miss. And I know you probably get this question all the time.
Yeah.
But what's the trick?
There's no trick. I do get this question a lot. The one guiding thing that I could say is going into LinkedIn with one clear metric of success is important. And that really depends on what you want out of LinkedIn and where you are in your business. So there's CEOs with teams of hundreds or thousands of people. They come to me, they're not necessarily looking for clients from LinkedIn. They just want visibility. Maybe they want to drop a book, whatever. And so for that person, the metric would be views, or maybe they want to build an email list to drop a book. A lot of the times it's going to be views for someone like that. If it's more business related, I would say then the metric needs to just be how many calls or how many people went to the webinar or whatever. But having that clear metric is important because there's people that will be killing it in their metric. And then if they follow the impressions of a post, it can lead them astray. So I guess my question to you is, what is the metric that matters most to you?
Oh my goodness, then I guess that's something I have to contemplate on, because sometimes I do events and it's to draw them to the event. Most of the time I do a lot of workshops, and I'm hoping that they see that there's a workshop coming up.
And is the workshop a webinar or a real in-person event?
They're usually online, and sometimes they happen right here on LinkedIn, and sometimes they happen off of LinkedIn. But I usually try to schedule them in LinkedIn with different destinations.
Okay, we could go down that rabbit hole, but we won't, right? I guess we will. Why do you schedule your private workshops in LinkedIn?
Again, for visibility.
Okay, so you're using your workshops, and then I'm assuming you pitch on the workshop, right? What do you sell? What's the main metric
I'm an
here?
executive coach. I'm an executive coach for professionals who have been diagnosed with ADHD.
Okay.
So we do skills development in the workplace. So essentially, the reason I come to LinkedIn is because my audience is here.
Oh, 1,000%. I could tell you
right?
that.
Yeah. So I keep it on the platform to make the platform be happy. What I like about the LinkedIn event is that I've seen it show up on SEO also.
Yeah.
Where my events are showing up on search, which is lovely. So I like to leverage the LinkedIn juice. But LinkedIn is nitpicking on when it shows the impressions, when it's not. So I can see some events get a few thousand impressions. Some of them get like 200 impressions.
Okay, so your metric should be, and I don't know if you close them on calls, but let's just pretend that you do. Your metric should be the call instead of the events. Because there could be an event where 7 people come and it gets 100 impressions and you get 3 clients, versus an event with 100 people, you get 10,000 impressions and you get no clients. And if getting the top tier executive coaching clients is a metric that we're tracking, I would focus more on the things that you're doing that generate those calls where they actually lead to clients. And then I'd have to look at your stuff, but I'd never assume that it's the algorithm out to get us. If I do an event and it flops, I always assume that maybe my audience isn't interested in that as much as I thought they would be. And maybe that event doesn't get all those impressions and stuff, but maybe that's the conversion event and the other ones could just get new people onto your radar. Does this make sense?
100%. Love that. And it just shifts my mindset too. I feel like I was writing for the impressions, and now I'm going to go back to my roots,
Yeah.
write for the audience. And if it doesn't resonate, then it wasn't the event that I should have held.
Exactly.
It makes so much sense. Thank you so much, Shanee. You're always so much wealth of wisdom and you're always giving from the heart. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Kathy.
So I just wanted to know, in terms of based on content in general, where you were explaining the different metrics and stuff. So what key metric do you use to measure your profile success? Is it mainly based on your engagement, or what will you be using?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So the only metric that we track is the number of emails that we get.
Okay, no, it makes sense. I was just wondering because I think it's different from how you set up your profile, I think, on LinkedIn. So, yeah, okay, thank you very much for that. Obviously, I think my metric will differ.
It should differ. And I want to say this because I built up to the point where there are landing pages and emails and stuff, and you build up to that point. But you can do that even without a landing page. You can be successful on LinkedIn, even if you just have a DM, not even a Calendly.
Yes.
So yeah, go ahead. What's your metric?
I think my metric will be just engagement and the general impressions because I don't have my own company. For now, I'm just doing it for visibility. But yeah, later on, I think I can maybe add a landing page or something. But okay, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. And that's a great perspective. And if you don't have your own company, it's totally cool to just probably grow your visibility, grow your following, grow your impressions, because you could always leverage that in the future depending on what you do.
Hi, Shanee. I'll get straight into it. My question is sort of twofold. I've been going about 8 weeks now, flat out on LinkedIn, posting every day. And there is
Congratulations.
Thank you. And yeah, we're getting there. I'm doing a weekly little chat. It's kind of a fireside chat around new leaders at all levels. So it's 1 to 5 years, 5 to 15, and 15 and onwards. And you were quite right earlier saying what you did about it's the quality of the people that actually come through. But my first question is, I'm getting a lot of people say, yes, they're interested in coming to the little webinar. It's only an hour. It's from 2 to 3 on a Wednesday. In South African time. And we get about 60 today. There were 65 people that registered. But getting them then to register on Zoom, to come to the Zoom, is where everyone just falls off the wagon. So that's my first question. How can I make that more efficient? In other words, to convert more of those that say they're coming. And let me ask you just to answer that one first, if you may.
So your question is how to get people from the audio event to the webinar?
Yeah, well, they register for a webinar, but then they don't actually register on Zoom. They just register on LinkedIn.
Oh, okay.
So,
yes.
So there's kind of a disconnect between LinkedIn, yes, I'm coming, to actually registering on Zoom. There's a complete disconnect there.
Yes. So I see the machine of LinkedIn live events and webinars as separate. So you'll rarely, if ever, see us create a LinkedIn live event where the link in the live event goes to a Zoom. And that's just because it can be confusing for people, number one. Number two, it could cause that last minute, oh my gosh, now I have to register for this. And it feels almost like a trick versus me telling people in the room, if you're interested, go to the challenge. It's not like a trick. If you're interested, you're just going to click the profile. The answer to your question is a landing page where they can willingly come and register. And the second fold answer to your question is making the next step the most logical one. So it would be logical for someone like Kathy to go because she could literally just recreate her LinkedIn strategy. And a lot of the people in the room probably resonated. And it's more visual. I could walk you through it versus this just being the audio. So as long as it makes that logical progression, then you should have a good percentage of the room register. To get the people to show up to the actual webinar, you'll need a good sequence of emails, reminder emails, a lot of them.
I've got those. Yeah.
Okay, good. So I would just do a landing page.
Okay. And then final question, and I'll get off. Are webinars more efficient for you or audio?
What do you mean by efficient?
I guess, would you generate more emails and inquiries from your audio or from a webinar?
Definitely a webinar. 100%. But a lot of people will go from the audio to the webinar. And there's a lot of people that have, let's say, been to my webinar and they're like, well, I want to work with you one-on-one. And maybe they'll go to an audio and then maybe they'll just message me directly. The greatest value of an audio for me is being able to do this, is being able to hear people's questions, because then I can go on now to create a live event or a YouTube video on basically how to get more webinar registrations through LinkedIn. And I know that it would resonate with the right audience for me. So it's more like the interactive part of the audio is the most valuable thing for me, but definitely when it comes to conversion, webinar, 100%.
Thank you so much. And
you're welcome.
Keep up your great work. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey, how you doing? I am in the travel industry. I design luxury vacations for busy professionals. I'm trying to use LinkedIn more to grow my brand and grow the problem that I solve. My main question is, I'm trying to figure out what type of content to really put out to specifically gain the emails to hopefully grow sales. I see this platform as a great opportunity. I've been growing, but I like what you said. I don't need the matrix. I need the true leads. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to say, first and foremost, you're doing God's work, because planning a vacation is a nightmare. Okay. In and of itself, especially if it's a new place. And especially for someone like me, the last flight that I booked with the hotel, I forgot that hotels don't let you actually check in until the evening. And the flight got there at 8 a.m. Never again. That was an adventure. So what I would do if I were you, is there any mega influencer that's doing something similar?
Well, that's the funny thing is you have influencers, but they're not doing travel. They're more of doing a lot of things out there. They're more for the matrix. I'm for just like yourself, a person is doing great work and busy, but they don't want to plan their travel because it's hard to do. It's, they want to work on what they're good at, and we handle it from there. So I got to really speak to that busy professional out there, speak their language. It's a niche. It's a good niche, but it's not about getting 100,000 people to look at it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's about getting 10, and those 10 know what they want.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about your top clients, and I'll be able to give you the best answer.
So, for example, my top clients, and I'm going to make a post today, they're just celebrated a milestone birthday. She has the financial ability to have a vacation, but she did not want to work on it at all. So she outsourced the information to us. It was just a domestic one for this one, where she stayed in Vegas, but we handled all of her excursions where she went to shows. We had the reservations at the dinner. We did a photo shoot. Spa for them. We had private drivers take them everywhere. So they had a great time. It was a milestone birthday that they love. And I have done it in Africa, Europe, all around. So usually it's for celebratory events because the vacation really means something to them, such as an anniversary, birthday, things of that nature.
What questions do they ask, and what kind of financial abilities do they have? Is it multiple six figures, or is she a decamillionaire? What level we're talking here? 6
figures and up. You get them in all ranges. And that's what it is because we can work with budgets that are reasonable, but we deal with only luxury vacations though. So it's just like different styles of luxury. You can have a Mercedes or you can have a Rolls Royce. The questions they ask are most of the times, what type of destinations are out there based on their vacation goals? What can you design to meet my vacation goals? For example, if they want a shopping trip, if they want a wellness vacation, what can I get for different budgets? Another question is, why would I use a travel advisor? But a lot of them know that because we give them peace of mind so they don't have to do it. And I think another thing too is sometimes they use their admins just to book a vacation and they're not getting them. The admins are just going online and just pushing a button, and it's not really what they want. So I would say we don't book a vacation. We design a vacation based on their goals.
So there's a few answers to your question, and it really depends on your skill sets and what you love to do, and you could do with what you wish. So the first answer to your question is, well, what can I create for free to build my email list? It could be something very direct, like the best destinations for this type of personality, or the best destinations where no tourists will be. It really depends on their personality. The best destinations for milestone birthdays if you're an introvert. It doesn't matter, right?
Right.
The second approach, I think, could scale a lot better for you And I'll explain it this way. I have a friend, he has a gardening YouTube channel. They do $30 million a year. He only started selling the seeds now. But what he does is he just educates people about the gardening. And a lot of their revenue comes from the gardening beds. So they'll start watching because they love to garden, because of this. He gives a lot of free education. And then he just so happens to sell the gardening beds. And by the time that they realize that, they trust and they want to support his brand, and so they buy his gardening bed. So it could be a more indirect approach where, let's say you create foodie entrepreneurs in Atlanta, because foodies tend to also travel, and you create that group and you just so happen to help them travel.
Okay.
And you could build your list with a free community like that in that way. So one approach would be very direct. Here's a downloadable thing. Here's a training. I don't really think a training will work well in your space because, again, if I'm trying to save time, I don't want to watch like an hour thing. If you're going for more higher level clients, they're going to want to call, and calls usually don't build lists. So you're going to need something like a free community or something they could watch in 10 minutes or less to understand what's going on. A book would probably work really well for that kind of group as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm just going to answer some of the questions that I received through those short videos and build a community, because I think it's a lot of us out there. I was that before I started this company, that busy professional. So I'm just going to use that. Definitely like the information you're providing. Just like I said before, I've been following you for a while now. I enjoy your work.
I appreciate it. Another thing you could do is also luxury staycations,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome because someone like a busy entrepreneur or whatever, they may not be able to go for a week somewhere, but if they want to do a lot of self-care and they're high performing, especially female entrepreneurs, they like staycations and it would vibe. So, how to make sure your Airbnb doesn't have cameras.
Yeah, that is a big thing out there, even in the hotels as well.
Yeah, exactly. And you even doing a video showing safety stuff that they should be doing in a hotel. That's how you're going to get people who are thinking of even traveling. I know that little hotel thing that you put on the chain or the lock so that nobody could break in the door. A lot of people don't even know about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, and it's a variety of different things. Safety is definitely key. Quality, cleanliness, all of those are what makes a good stay. People just want to be safe and have peace of mind. So we'll definitely look into that content as well.
Yeah, but I would start. And then obviously, if you watch the 90-day thing, just double down on what they're liking the best. But always remember, people who travel tend to have other things in common. And Shankar is my business partner. He loves to travel. And I know that they're foodies. They are probably posting a lot of images related to their travels. Shankar, you want to chime in here? You travel a lot more than me.
Yeah, I always like to combine networking with my travels as well. So, knowing what are the hotels or meetups and maybe groups where it's worth my time meeting someone new at a very high level.
Yeah, networking is definitely key. Networking is how I've grown my business. So I think even when I usually have some group trips, bringing people together, and now I see them doing business together from my trip, it's really fulfilling. So that's great. And I've listened to both your YouTube videos, and you guys do a great job.
Yeah, now I can't wait to see your YouTube videos.
Well, great. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hello, and thank you for hosting this live. So I've just tapped into you and just love what you do and the information you provide. I really started watching your YouTube channel, and I really found a lot of the things you were saying valuable. And I've been considering moving to that platform more because I'm able to build like an 18,000 follower following here, but I have less than a 2% rate on any engagement on my posts. I post every day, and I have been for about like 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I've really been looking more at supplementing and moving to YouTube, especially since you said a lot of your inbound marketing is coming from there, inbound leads.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you're doing any active outreach there, or is it just all from posting and then you get warm leads from there?
Yeah, so I'm going to start this response by saying that I was not open to it. People told me to do it for a long time. I'm like, nah, it probably doesn't work like that, until I started to do it. And it's actually surprising how well it works. So about 50% of our inbound clients now come from YouTube or find us somehow on YouTube and then come to LinkedIn. Some of them will be Googling, then happen chance upon a YouTube video, or just find on YouTube and then come over here. And then it's nurtured. So I think that the answer to your question is that using both are extremely powerful. But I think YouTube, because the people are actually searching for that solution, they're probably closer to needing the solution to their problem and closer to conversion. And we're doubling down on it. I think that it's also great because the assets, they live forever on there. I've been pleasantly surprised. Now, I'm not going to lie and say that it has been easy, because it is a huge learning curve. So I don't think that I would have been able to do it had I not really been posting for a couple years with video prior. But you say that you've been posting for 4 years, so you should be able to do it and do it pretty well. And no, to answer your specific question, there's no outreach. It's just from the videos.
Okay, cool. Even better.
I started noticing when people started to send connection requests that said, hey, I watched your YouTube video. I'm like, oh, this does work. And then they would come to the challenge and be like, oh, I came from YouTube. And then a few of our clients started mentioning, I always ask when I'm working with a new client, how did you find us? They started saying YouTube, where only before it would 100% be LinkedIn. If you can handle the bandwidth, then I 1000% think you should do it. I think that getting to a cadence with live events on LinkedIn to make it easier for yourself, like I'll do a live event on LinkedIn and then it'll be repurposed for YouTube so that I don't have to do double the work.
Definitely. Do you use like a restreaming tool or something like that? Or
Yeah,
to do them at the same time?
Well, no. So we don't do them at the same time. We haven't found that that's been the most effective. The most effective has been doing the live on LinkedIn, either video or audio, and then the team editing it a little bit and then putting it as an on-demand video on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So you're going to see this video on YouTube.
Let's go.
This is something about 3-4 months. Some of our clients are like, okay, now we understand the LinkedIn machine, because with our clients, we do weekly lives. And now we have 8 to 10 assets. So why not start scheduling them on YouTube? So yeah, just make sure that you don't do double work and you just give it a good 90 days, because let me tell you, it was a humbling experience. To come from over here, you're probably getting a couple hundred or at least like 1,000 impressions or something a post.
Mhm.
I like my first month on YouTube, I'm getting like 3 views. I'm like, damn, this is humbling. But it was exciting to be a beginner again. And you just have to learn the platform. And the platform needs time to understand who to serve your videos to.
Oh, okay.
Because the algorithm's really, really good. So yeah, great question. Did I answer it?
You got it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks for being a YouTube community member.
I too operated the travel space, and I'm just looking for any tips that you might be able to give regarding what I do. I am probably the only, I will say probably, I'm absolutely sure I'm the only African-American that created a travel expo in the world, a major travel expo. COVID is the only thing that stopped me from putting it on before now. I decided to do an all things travel expo. I chose Orlando. COVID hit. They shut down the convention center I signed a contract with. Shut down the hotels, shut down Disney flights. Then we could not get a reschedule because of new variants of the disease coming out. And so I decided, believe it or not, to choose Memphis before all the earthquake bad news came out of Memphis. But it was the 11th largest travel market in the country. And so I rented the Memphis Convention Center, and our event is not until September 21st and 22nd. And I also created a magazine. I did talk with a social media, he was a LinkedIn influencer who has about 1.3 million followers. We've been putting out 30-second videos on his broadcasts on a regular basis. I see that now I'm starting to get more social media followers, not necessarily engaging saying, hey, we want to rent a booth in this inexpensive travel expo where they can make hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of travel and tourists coming looking to go to their destinations or use their means for travel, the cruises, that kind of thing. So I'm wondering, I know that I'm scratching the surface. I'm starting to get a tick from people globally. My magazine can give me certain analytics and metrics in terms of where people are coming from around the world. It doesn't give me any specifics about them individually, which ultimately we'll hope to get through surveys that we'll do. But I'm just looking for any tips.
So number one, I don't know how it works and the details don't matter, of 30-second posts being on someone else's platform. I think that I don't see the videos on your platform. A lot of the people on LinkedIn, you're going to accelerate trust with these businesses buying booths from you if you actually put yourself out there as a leader of your company. So that's number one. I'd start that for 90 days. And then number two, what I do is host some live events, because that will usually bring people who have been watching your content to the point where they're interested in your offer. Those are just two of the things.
I'm not as fluent with LinkedIn as I should be, but there are places where you post and it'll show that I post a lot of stuff about Travel Ticket Magazine. Well, the problem is I only have about 6,800 followers.
Yeah, but that's a lot. So when a client comes to me with your number of following, you have to understand, with LinkedIn live events, you have the ability to invite 1,000 people per week to your live event, which means that let's just say that you didn't want to go ham and you just wanted to do one a month. That means that you could invite 4,000 of your LinkedIn connections to the live event. Let's say that 400 accept, you're going to have at least 100 there. And that's being very conservative. And I'm being very conservative with the numbers because to increase those numbers and to make it where 1,000 people accept the event invites and to have 300 to 400 actually there, you would need to do the 90 days first. You would need to warm up your audience and become visible to them, so on and so forth. And that's what I would do. If I were advising you, you would be doing the 90 days, building up and leading up to a massive online event where you would sell your expo spots or whatever, or just drive them to where they could buy. And that's what I would advise. Like 6,000 connections on LinkedIn, you have a massive advantage. It would be like having 60,000 on Instagram. Anything over 4,000 connections on LinkedIn, you have a massive advantage because you could invite the max people to your live event. So I hope that answers your questions.
I think it's always important to be as close to owning the narrative and the place where the knowledge transfer happens between you and your company. You're going to want to have that happen on your platform versus someone else. At least from a business owner's perspective, that seems important to me. Yeah, that might take a few weeks of effort, but then moving forward, you are at the front of where that happens. And that is very important to me.
For sure.
Back to the 1,000 invites. Do you manually have to pick 1,000 or is it automated for the live event invitations?
It's a Microsoft product. What do you think?
I think I got to do it one by one.
So you don't have to do it one by one, but you will have to do it manually. So there's a way where either you could do it one by one or you could scroll down and then select all, but you're still going to have to sit there for 10 minutes scrolling and then click select all. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for Microsoft products.
Hello, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Well, I'm pretty rich in followers and I'm ready to get started. I am working and my role really allows me to kind of expand what I do in business advisory to small business, but I'm really looking to get more engaged with advisory boards and boards of directors. So I would love your insight on the type of communications I should be doing using my rich followers on LinkedIn. And I'm also very interested in eventually expanding over to YouTube. So I'm a neophyte ready to get started. And I've waited too long, and I'm ready to really take it to the next level.
Well, your guardian angel is here.
Yes, I've been praying for you.
I love it. So yeah, you definitely are rich in followers, and I see you already have your gold badge. So you're actually like ahead of the game and you have massive advantage. If I were you, Victor, the first thing that I would do is launch your LinkedIn newsletter, and I'll share with you why. Number one, you have the follower advantage. So within about 24 to 48 hours of launching your LinkedIn newsletter, you should have anywhere between like 3,000 plus subscribers because of your following. The other thing is because it's written format. And if you don't know, by the way, when you launch your LinkedIn newsletter, each edition will be posted as an article, but those 3,000 plus subscribers, number one, you're segmenting your audience. So what do you do with these boards? What do you bring to them? How do you help them?
So basically, I'm going to expand what I do as a consultant and a business advisor to get on paid private advisory boards to help them with their operations.
Okay, so let's say operational excellence for C-level execs is your newsletter title. What that will mean is that everyone that wants to learn about that thing or that wants to be associated with that thing is going to subscribe. So off the bat, what the LinkedIn newsletter will do is show the people that are active in your network, even if they never engage, because this is something that is specific to the LinkedIn network, is that a lot of people are very active. They just won't like your posts. They won't comment. They're in the background because they don't want their network to see that they're engaging with something. So it'll automatically give you a list of people who are active. On top of that, those people will start receiving emails every single time you release an article inside of their inbox on behalf of LinkedIn. So now you're reaching these C-level people, you're sharing your operational expertise, you're sharing updates, and you're sharing that you're available to serve on certain boards in certain industries, whatever. And then you're just instantly reaching them in their inbox, even if they don't log on LinkedIn every single day. And then the third thing is that you could start to rank on things like Google and Bing and reach people outside of LinkedIn. So the lowest hanging fruit for you is to launch your LinkedIn newsletter, to get a few thousand subscribers, and to start reaching a few thousand people in their inbox every single week.
You are incredible.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, that would be the first thing. And then the second thing, obviously, is you have massive advantage with your following for live events, but we'll talk about that at a later time, okay?
Okay, Shanee, thank you so much. It's so good to hear your voice and to be engaged with you. And I definitely am going to be more engaged. And anything I can do to help you, please let me know.
I will. Thank you so much, Victor. I appreciate you so much. And God bless you. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you next time. Ciao.